right, so this is our live segment. We're going to kick things off where we tackle everyday battles that shape our worlds outside of love, from office politics to those what just happened moments at work. We've got listener stories that might sound all too familiar. Tonight, we're talking about invisible vibes in cliquey workplaces, a creepy boss, pushy managers, and sticky workplace benefits. Anyway, and always the internal question, why are we sharing desks? So, but before we get into kind of our work thing, there is a segment here that I want to share here before we start off, just to kind of set the vibe of our show tonight.
You've already achieved goals you said would make you happy. How can you presume that your happiness sits on the next side of the next set of goals, given that right now you are on the other side of your last set of goals?
Isn't that part of the thing, right? If you're always chasing some far off goal, you're never going to catch it. But then if happiness is dependent upon you achieving your goal, what happens when you achieve your goal?
Can you be happy for a minute?
Yeah. Can you sit down and enjoy that achievement, or are you off chasing something? Immediately
You're off on the next goal.
You're off on the next goal, which means you're never going to allow yourself to be happy. And then we're going to have to define happiness, right? Happiness and joy are two different things. Is contentment happiness? Some would argue yes, some would argue no. So what is happiness?
I would argue yes.
Yeah. Well, we're old. If you're 25, is contentment happiness? Probably too young for that. You probably shouldn't be content at 25. No, unless you've accomplished a lot. I mean, it happens. But for most of us at 25, you haven't done anything to feel content. So maybe happiness, evolves along with us as human beings. How we define happy. What makes us happy at 25 is going to be vastly different than what makes us happy at 52.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's just stuff to think about. If you're goal chasing all the time, in the world of politics where I have a foot, I call it the activist problem. They don't know how to stop. Once they achieve whatever things they were trying to, their stated goal, they now have talent and skills, but nowhere to apply them. So what do?
Create a new one.
A fire eater will eat fire, even if they have to kindle it themselves. At some point, that's what they get. They have to create their own fires just so they have something to do. And something for you to do is like, share, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff that we always hate talking about here on this show. But you can send us your love letters at late night love at. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, and letters to love at latenightLove.us.
Thank you, babe.
Good.
You did it.
God almighty. All right, so let's get started tonight, Levy.
Okay. We're going to start off into our live segment. Can you digitally replicate the feeling of a desk? It's contagious.
That's what you get for laughing at me. Can you? No. But it doesn't mean you can't digitally set yourself up something that works for you. Don't try to replicate the feelings of a desk. Create something new that works. Forget the old. You don't want it to replicate the feelings of your desk. It's something completely different. Drop your old expectations and create something new that works.
Okay.
You're trying to create something that's impossible. You're not going to do it. But what you can do is erase all that. Okay, I've got an opportunity to recreate my workflow, to recreate my, how I function. I can become more efficient. I can fix all those little problems that drive me crazy about my about how I operate. You know, now I have an opportunity to fix some of those. Oh, you'll create new ones. Don't worry about that. But because you just we're human, and we all have our quirks, and that's tomorrow me's problem ends up becoming a permanent fix. This is a solution for today, and fixing it for real is tomorrow me's problem. Well, it worked for yesterday, so now it's going to do the same thing today. 6 months later, you're still doing that same thing that you were supposed to actually create a permanent fix for, that you never have, because this was easier, and it became easier. But anyway, that we've kind of gone off the rails on that. But you stop trying to recreate something that it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is create something that works for you. Maybe that's having these days, you can have an AI agent that helps you, goes through your emails and whatnot, helps you organize your emails. Well, I actually have an AI agent at work that actually helps them read an email chain, go through it, ask me a handful of questions, and then draw up a response or create my next steps or any tasks I need to do. And because I've actually read the emails and I've gone through it, I can go, yes, that makes sense. No, it's missed something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have to put as much thought time into the mundane nonsense that I otherwise would. So you have an opportunity to create something new. Create a new space is my suggestion. Don't try to create the old. Don't try to recreate your old space. Create a new space that can work just as well or better.
Or better. Yeah.
Okay.
Forced to go into a workplace where I feel invisible and there's cliques.
Oh, that's the best thing, just to feel invisible at a workplace.
Yeah.
Well, because just because you're feeling invisible doesn't mean you are.
I used to like that.
Yeah, let the cliques play with themselves. You're the one who actually can get work done.
Thank you. Leave me alone.
You're the one who's not causing the boss any headaches, right? You're the one who is actually being able to solve problems and get around that nonsense. So you are actually in a unique position. I get how it can be frustrating. I'm assuming this is a young woman, because young women care more about that stuff, generally speaking, than men. I mean, women generally speak cliques and whatnot. Men don't care, as a rule of thumb. Some do, of course they do, but for the most part, men don't care. Have your clique. It just means I get my work done, and you go around the cliques. Right? Management isn't part of the cliques. Those are the people who are spending way too much of their energy on things other than being productive at work. So let them be the problem. You be the solution. And even if it doesn't work at this place in terms of becoming successful and getting promoted, you'll set the groundwork for you to be successful other places.
I like that.
Not because they necessarily can see what you're doing, but you are setting yourself up for good habits that will be beneficial to any employer, anywhere, at any time.
And keep looking.
Yeah, and find someplace else. Or who knows, maybe you end up becoming their boss and you can solve these problems. Sometimes someone has to solve these problems. Someone has to be hired to solve this type of culture problem. And it's not necessarily pretty. It can be depending upon size, scope, organization, but it can take 6 months, 2-3 years to fundamentally change the culture of an organization than to see the results. It can take time. Yeah. And the person who leads that deals with a lot of stress, but it also comes with compensation. And that looks good on resumes. Mm-hmm. So that was my suggestion. Make the best of it, but don't participate in it, because that, you can see everything from the high road.
You really can.
It's a wonderful place up there. Okay.
Okay. This one's interesting. Okay. My boss called me into her office today, and she was acting like she usually did. Then she pulled out sticks, various wild herbs, and a word symbol she made from wood and began to touch me with it. Then she asked him if he would work on Sunday.
Okay, so this is a dude who's just had his female boss make. If a man had done that to a woman, this would be woefully inappropriate.
Yeah.
Because it's on the other side of the foot, we go, what the heck is she doing? Right? Because we're not worried about, dude, this is just weird, right? He's not worried about his physical safety.
No.
No, he's just going, this is just really
Yeah,
strange. I don't want to be around this woman.
What's he going to do?
Yeah, and we flipped the script on this thing, and both you and me, we'd have a vastly different reaction. We're part of the problem on this, right? So let's just lay that to begin with. But now let's deal with our actual reactions, because this is, what the heck? This is just weird.
It is.
This, because it's a guy, you can't just ask her, what the heck was that all about?
Well, obviously she's Wiccan.
Yeah. But that's what we call confusing signals. Is she hitting on him? Is she flirting with him in her strange Wiccan way?
Huh. I don't know.
Did she see some aura that she felt she needed to disperse from him and just couldn't resist herself?
I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't seem all that perturbed by it. He seems more perplexed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then she asks me to work on Sunday.
Yeah, but they might not be related. That's the thing. Maybe she's trying to work some alone time with him so she can continue flirting in her strange way. But maybe she's just I'm not saying it's necessarily a high chance, like I would know, because I wouldn't view this as flirting, but it does kind of seem like she's reaching out to him in some other way than work, in a more personal way.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
And women have a long history of flirting in ways that men have no chance at ever catching. Our answer is, what the heck was that? We're not angry, we're not upset, we just don't know what the heck it was. We'd be perfectly fine with that was flirting if we knew what it was. We'd have played along. We just had no idea. And we can't accept the risk because, yeah. So anyway.
Because then you get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, it's not worth it. So what do? If you're actually worried about it, I suppose you could, if it's a large enough company, you could go and talk to HR and say, I'm not making an issue of it. I just want you to be aware.
Yeah.
Right? You may want to do that, or at least tell somebody somewhere so you have somebody to verify that this is a story. But, going to HR and saying, I'm not making a thing about it. It was just strange. And I just wanted to be aware in the off chance that something later on, there's a record of me coming to her. That's it. I don't want you to do anything about it because I'm not sure there was anything to do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you might want to just ask her at this point, do that, talk to make sure somebody else knows, and then ask her what it was about. Maybe she saw an aura thing and she just got overwhelmed and had to relieve you of your curse. And then what do you care, right? Sweet, thanks. Just move on. What do you care? No skin off your back makes her feel better. Might we all move on? But I also want to point, again, back to the beginning, how different the conversation would have been had the shoes been reversed. He's a creep, go to HR. Right? It's not even a question. So.
Women judged are harshly.
So. And I'm not even complaining about it. I just want us to be aware of it. It's perfectly natural, perfectly human. We sat here and did the same thing. I just want us to be aware of, those are these little thick pieces of hypocrisy that we sometimes can't get away from.
Well, not yet.
Life's like that sometimes.
We're working on it.
Well, it's human. The consequences are vastly different, right? The personal, physical, potential consequences are vastly different in that particular case.
Yeah.
So I think most of us are willing to live with that level of hypocrisy. I'm okay with it. Is it wrong? Probably, but I'm okay with it. In the grand scheme of things, I'm okay with it. Yeah. But I'm also not going to pretend it's not there. Yeah. It would be a vastly different conversation with the shoes reversed.
It would.
Life's like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Manager who isn't even over me tried forcing me to come in on an approved day off. Feel like she's trying to escalate and retaliate because of this. How to protect myself?
You don't need to. You already had an approved day off. She's not your boss. Yeah. And you may want to say, hey, why is this person trying to interject in my work schedule? Let your boss know that they're stepping on their toes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll put an end to it.
That's what I would try. First thing. Why is this? And you don't even have to make a thing of it. Just why is this guy trying to tell me when I can and can't work? He doesn't manage my schedule. What's going on? I'll take care of that. Because people don't like having their toes stepped on. So that's how you protect yourself. But you feel like she's going to try and escalate and retaliate, but she can't escalate to an employee that's not hers. I'm trying to, someone who you tried to tell someone who you doesn't take orders from you what to do, and they said no. Yeah, and you tried to tell someone to work on an approved day off because, you don't have anything to worry about. Just make sure your approved day off is documented, and let your supervisor person that someone's stepping on their toes.
Okay.
That's all you got to do.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever been stuck with a benefit from work that you couldn't refuse? How did you handle it?
Well, you take it. You don't, just because you get a benefit doesn't mean you have to use it. Just take it and it sits there unused.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't really want it. But yeah, I was, sometimes they legally are required to give you this benefit. Like if you qualify for a retirement program, you say, I don't want to participate. Tough. You don't get to not participate. I want the cash instead. They can't do it.
Can't do it.
They legally cannot do it. Sometimes they don't want to give you the benefit any more than you wanted, but they'd much rather give you the cash. They don't want to handle it either, right? It's paperwork, and you don't want to handle it. They'd much rather give you the cash, but they're not allowed. So, right or wrong, so realize some of these benefits, as you know, benefits aren't really benefits, but they're mandated for some reason or another. Or if you're a large company, at some point someone got sued, so now you've got this goofy benefit that no one wants, no one uses, but you've got to take it, and it puts $1.08 out of every paycheck or something, right? And it's annoying. I want that dollar back. Life's like that sometimes, homie. Yeah, it's just.
I hadn't thought of that, being the legal ones.
Yeah, there's a handful of legal ones, special retirements and things like that.
What about the social?
What, like Social Security and those?
No.
What?
Get-togethers, drinks after work.
Yeah, but those aren't benefits. It's like having a benefit to the gym. They can give you a benefit to the gym. You just don't use it.
Okay.
Yeah, would you rather have the $25 or the $10 they pay for the gym membership? Sure. But they'd have to pay payroll taxes on that, and for you individually, it's not such a big deal. But if you did it for you, they'd have to do it for everybody, and it creates both a payroll issue and a tax issue, and no one wants to deal with that. So you either take it or it goes sits unused. It's like when you buy a cell phone, you have a cell phone plan. There's a bunch of stuff that I don't use, like Apple Plus and Netflix, and all these things come free with my cell phone plan. Don't use any of them. Would I love for my cell phone bill to be reduced by $10 a month because I don't use those?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not how that works. Right? So it is what it is. And, part of the economics is there's a lot of people like me aren't going to use the service that they're back paying for, which means people like you who do use the Netflix service, get to have that service at a slightly discounted rate. The theory is that I would another person will use some other services that people like you wouldn't use, and it all balances relatively out in the long run.
Okay.
Not over months. I mean, we're talking over a couple of years. It all relatively balances out. That's the theory from a consumer aspect.
Okay.
From a T-Mobile aspect is, they're just trying to they've got deals with these things back and forth, and who knows how the economics of that go, how many customers they feed in, they pay how X versus how many actually sign up and use it. And, who knows? It becomes a complicated economic conversation when they make those deals.
Sounds like it.
Well, because sometimes it's advertising versus because they've gotten to see the Apple Plus gets put in front of stuff and somebody's face that they may not have used otherwise. So now you've got someone who's using Apple Plus on the most basic tier, and hey, I like this service. I'm going to pay for a higher tier, and now Apple's got you into the Apple Plus ecosystem, right? Or Disney Plus, or pick your service. Right? So you get the cheap entry-level tier paid for through your cell phone plan. If you like the service, you get a higher tier, and that's how they make their money.
I see.
So, but then you add about 30 other different calculations like that back and forth from various regulations, and us as the consumers can't understand it, but we accept that over the course of time, I'm going to use some services, other people are going to use some services, and for us, it balances relatively out.
Okay.
Or you get one of the cheap things that don't offer any of those, and you pay $10 less a month on your cell phone plan. That's the difference. But those cheaper services get lower service priority on the networks.
Oh, they do.
Yes. Because they rent their networks from AT&T, T-Mobile, or is it Verizon? There's 3 networks. There's 3 5G mobile networks, right? AT&T, Verizon, and everybody else just leases time off one of those. And because you lease time, you get priority under the main carrier. So in times of heavy traffic, your speeds are going to get reduced. It's not like they're not going to get connected, but your speeds, your internet services are going to get reduced, so they can service the top tier customers. That's why they pay more money. You pay less. That's how that works. Yeah, but for most of the time, you can't tell the difference. It's really only during those peak periods that it's going to tell the difference. Okay.
I honestly can't focus without headphones. People around me keep interrupting me. What should I do?
Live life without headphones and train yourself to not be interrupted by every sound that you hear. Part of the problem is you've trained yourself to live your life in headphones without having to experience the wider world around you, without having to learn how to hear sounds but not acknowledge them, for lack of a better word. A lot of us have taken a lot of time in our lives to learn how to have what we call selective hearing.
Children.
Yeah, children are great at this. You're not listening to all that noise. You're listening for a handful of sounds that signal trouble or quiet.
Quiet.
Hey.
Certain phrases, certain words.
Yeah, quiet's the big one. You got a bunch of boys, and all of a sudden it's too quiet. What are those suckers doing? It's They try to be all quiet to be sneaky, and that's what sets you off. That's how they get caught, because they're quiet all of a sudden. And so and so you hear the silence. But you can't do that if you got headphones on, because you're always listening to something else. You've always got these noise canceling things so you can ignore the rest of the world. The problem is when you take those things off, now you have to experience the world and you don't know how. You're unpracticed at it. So just like anything else in the world, practice. Live life without the headphones on. Here's a trick. Listen to your music with speakers. When you're at home in your room, even at low volume, you don't have to blast them. I know you like the nice sound of the bass or whatever and all that. And it doesn't matter. Just listen to your music through speakers. Try it. You might like it.
Go old school.
Go old school. Put the headphones on only for gaming for a while. In fact, you may actually want to leave the headphones off for gaming. Yeah, okay. If you're doing something competitive, put them on, of course, clearly. But if you're just kind of goofing around by yourself or playing with your friends, take them off and experience the world without them. And then you learn how to differentiate. Thank you. Between the sounds you need to listen to and the sounds you don't. Yeah. So that's my suggestion.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And people interrupting you, coming up and talking to you, means that people want to talk to you. That's actually a good sign. It means you're friendly or knowledgeable, maybe even both. If they're asking you questions, it means you're knowledgeable. Congratulations. You're someone people come to solve their problems. It might be annoying, but at least you have knowledge. You have importance. You have skill. I know you're not thinking of it that way. You think these people are interrupting me, but they're interrupting you for a reason. Now, if they're interrupting you to chit chat, that's a different thing. You're friendly. At least people perceive you as friendly and approachable. But if they're interrupting you to answer problems, congratulations. You've proven your worth to your coworkers, so they come to you for problems. Now, maybe they're abusing you a little bit. I kind of doubt that. My suspicion is this person just gets annoyed that they get interrupted at all.
Yes.
Yeah. So the people who are coming to them because they really need a problem solved. So congratulations. For the love of God, take your headphones off every now and again and experience the world. It's not that scary out here. Okay.
What is the point of making us share our desks?
Well, because there's only, depending upon like shared workspaces and all that, especially if this happens a lot in phone banks and places, right? Because those seats are used 2 or 3 shifts. People come in, you sit down, sit down at whatever desk you sit down at, and you kind of use it for the day and you go off. It's not really your desk. Now, some places you might, because of culture, have a habit of using the same desk over and over again. So you end up having a desk buddy, for lack of a better word. But that's the reason. It's because the resources is tied to a certain geographic location, usually customer service areas. This is generally where it happens a lot. It's customer service where you end up sharing desks, simply because someone's almost always needs to be in that physical location. And in order to service all of the people who can work all of the shifts, you'd need a huge location that's economically unfeasible. There's nothing overly private, right? And so you're expected just to take your stuff home. Just because you have a desk doesn't mean it's yours. It's like working on a factory. You have a locker, you don't have a desk. Yeah. You put stuff in your locker, or you bring it to and from work every day. Lots of people bring their personal stuff to and from work every day. I have a coworker who's got this big old thing, and you can hear her coming from down the road. She's got a grocery cart that she brings all her stuff in, right? Because she brings a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she takes it home every day. She's been there a long time, so her desk is still a desk. But the point is, some people bring a lot of stuff to and from just because. So instead of wondering what the point is, just accept it is what it is. I mean, you're sharing a desk because you've got multiple people are doing this fundamentally the same job, usually 24/7, and it's prohibitive to put all these people having their own desk. Or you're going to get it even in a worse environment. You're going to get this mass cafeteria type environment, so everybody can have their right. So you're better than that. Right? You'd rather have a shared desk than a cafeteria type environment where everybody.
Well, yeah.
So, because the tasks you're doing aren't worthy of their own office yet.
That may burst a bubble.
It's not that they're not important.
Mm-hmm.
Customer service, that Dyson, the guy who does the Dyson vacuum cleaners, he says when a customer calls in to customer service he says we should view that as an opportunity, not as a problem. It's an opportunity to interface with our customers.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opportunity to solve a problem for them. It's an opportunity to create loyalty. So we should view that as an opportunity. But they're still the customer service person. They're still theoretically the easiest person to replace. Because there's a lot of people who can do a customer service job. So simply economics tells you those are going to be the people who get lowest pay. The plus side is if you can do a bang up job on a customer service job, then you can move into sales, or you can move into customer retention. There's all kinds of things you can do to move up. Right. So you're proving a lot. Okay.
That was our last question.
All right. That was our life segment. Tough stories, sharper questions. If you're in a place that drains you, remember, small boundaries add up. Hold on to the one step you can take first. Just do that. From me and Lubby, have a good night. Please remember to love. Oh, wait a minute. We've got all kinds of things. Facebook is having a thing. All right. So we'll remove that. Have a good night and love everybody.
Good night.